And joining me live on Race to Power from Tehran is Dr. Saeed Imameen, Assistant Professor at Tehran Polytechnic. He's also the founder and former director of the Governance and Policy think tank. Welcome to Race to Power, Dr. Imameen. First up, is there a real possibility of fresh confrontation in West Asia after this fatwa being issued against Trump and Bibi?
I would like to, first of all, to contextualize the situation in Iran and in the Islamic world as a whole. You need to understand Iran as a part of a very historical civilization with a very rich background of the culture, very much intertwined and mixed with the Islamic identity, Islamic and Shia identity. And it's not something very much superficial, without any kind of the historical background. A country like Israel that has just 70 years of the occupational history. In that context, we have a long history of such kind of the fatwas that have been very important in changing the situation in the region. Just the most recent one was the fatwa that was issued by Ayatollah Sistani in 2014 against the radicalization and terrorism called ISIS at the time. And because of that fatwa, the Hashd al-Sha'bi, the popular mobilizational force, was created in Iraq. And it was the very decisive force to defeat ISIS at the end of the day. And with regards to the current situation, first of all, everyone knows that it was a war, illegal, unprovoked war, imposed on Iran by Israelis by the support of the US. They were thinking about not only about the Iranian nuclear program, they were thinking about demilitarizing Iran as a whole, even dividing Iran and eliminating Iran as a civilizational history. And the regime change was something that they have been talking about for a long time. But everyone knows that at the end of the day, they failed of reaching any of those kind of the targets. And there was the Trumps that asked for a ceasefire. So the kind of the attacking Iranian important cultural figures, including religious figures, including supreme leader, is something that is not a political attack, is very much has some kind of the cultural, civilizational connotation on it. And it's not only the Ayatollah Makarem Shirazi that issued such a fatwa. Before that, even within the war, there was Ayatollah Sistani in Iraq that he condemned clearly, publicly, the Israelis' attack, and he very much supported Iranian supreme leader. And then Ayatollah Makarem Shirazi, then Ayatollah Nuri Hamadani. That means the whole Islamic world that is very much is not detached from the Iranian civilization, or in some specific perspective and position to condemn not only attacking the sovereignty of the country, threatening the religious and culturally important figures in the country is not a political harm. Is the attack to the Iranian civilization. So it's something very much different, and we need to contextualize the situation and we need to understand the context that we are talking about.
Right. Dr. Imameen, with strong statements coming from Iran and the US, and you've clearly contextualized why the fatwa was announced, do you still see a path forward for talks between both the countries, and on what grounds?
Yeah, of course, there is a lot of political interaction. We are living in the world of the politics, but politics has some red lines and some limits. We could talk about everything, but we are not going to threaten existence and the foundation of another society. In that case, what was very surprising or shocking for the Israelis was the reaction of the Iranian society as a whole for what you call it in your introduction as provocation for regime change. Iranians as a whole as a society, as a culture, as a civilization, they came together and they came united together against the foreign invasion. It was not something that Israelis could understand because they didn't know about the Iranian society in much deeper way. You look at, for example, you mentioned Pahlavi, or someone that they never lived in Iran for several decades. They are someone that they are framing the perspective about Iran from the West. But at the end of the day, what is happening on the ground in Iran is something different. A different social dynamism is working in Iran, and the Iranian unity, the sense of patriotism, the sense of a kind of the national unity and national identity is something that has created and has framed the Iranian behavior in reaction to the foreign invasion, whilst in normal days, Iran as a big society has a lot of political dispute and has some kind of has been suffering from a kind of the social polarization. But during the war, something very, very surprising and different was seen from the Iranian society because of its very rich cultural and civilizational background.
Dr. Imami, the fatwa has been issued against the US president, and earlier, of course, Trump has said that he did not want Khamenei to be killed, and he also rather stopped Netanyahu from targeting Khamenei. So why a fatwa against the US president?
Actually, my understanding is not a fatwa against a specific person. The fatwa is against threatening the religious and cultural symbols of a society. Anyone who is going to disrespect, who is going to threaten, or who is going to attack, if possible, to such kind of the cultural symbols and very important figures would be the subject of that fatwa. But it's not exactly about the same person as you mentioned, because Trump has been disrespectful in his some posts that he posted in Social Truth, and he was to some extent reacted by Iranian foreign minister, and he mentioned that if Trump is keen and is honest of talking with Iranians, he needs to be respectful towards the Iranians' symbols of the cultural and religious symbols, including supreme leader. But the fatwa is going to say, if anyone is going to treat or attack any kind of the religious authorities in Iran, it would be subject of that fatwa. But it's not against a specific current president of the US, because he has never said such a thing as far as I know right now.
All right, Dr. Imami, thank you so much for joining us here on Race to Power.
Pleasure. Thank you.